Hey everyone. Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Welcome everyone to the first episode, first season of the Christine Furman Show. I am so honored to be here with you. So welcome everyone and thank you for being a part of the Momspiration412 community. I couldn't be here without you. And what I'm going to do today is I am going to just jump in and let you guys know the how, the why, and the heart of Momspiration 412 worldwide and EduPlay learning. And each week on Thursdays, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be bringing you all of the topics related to motherhood. That's what this community was designed for. It was to create a community for moms to be able to come together, feel loved, feel supported, feel encouraged, while always being educated about all things related to motherhood. So that's where and why this community was created so many years ago, and not even that many years ago. So let me begin. But if you guys are here, I would love to know that you are here. So give me a hello, drop me a comment below in the comments, or just put an emoji. Let me know that you guys are here. If you are watching the replay, please let me know that you're catching the replay. And also just let me know, like, how is your situation? Like, do you have kids? Are you pregnant? Are your kids older? What ages are your kids? So let me begin. I am Christine Furman, and I am the founder and owner of Momspiration412 Worldwide, as well as EduPlay Learning and Teaching Moments. So all of the programs that I create are based around my mission to help moms navigate motherhood with love and grace, while also educating and entertaining kids with interactive educational activities. And where might this all have come from, you may ask? Well, even from the time I was a little kid, I have always had this, urge and this sense to teach. I used to teach my brother and sister, and we had a very small little house, or upstairs area. But I would set up these desks and a chalkboard, and we had no room to walk around. But I was teaching, and I was so excited to have them sit there and learn and listen. And that was just the very beginning. And these things you don't think about sometimes whenever you get started and you start sharing your gifts. And I never thought about those moments of me teaching as a young kid leading me to moments of where I am today until recently. So on and on it went, and I just continued to have this love for teaching and this love for learning and educating kids. And anytime we went to a party, you could find me hanging out with the kids. I was the one entertaining and coming up with games. And if a kid was crying, I was right there. I wanted to console them. I wanted to make sure that they felt welcomed and felt loved. And I just loved that. So later on through school, into high school and everything, I knew I wanted to be an educator. I knew I wanted to go for teaching. And later on in life, when I graduated high school, my mom graduated college and she actually became a teacher as well. And it just is such an amazing feeling to be able to, just share this gift of education with children and adults and mothers alike, everyone. So as I continued throughout my school years, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I had a few side, moments where I thought, I don't know if I want to do that. I remember at one time, here's a little secret. And some of my high school friends may have remembered this, Beaver County Christian School, because I went to 3 different high schools. I started out at Hopewell, went to Beaver Valley Christian School, so a big shout out to all of you. And then I went to Beaver County Christian School. So I've been to 3 different high schools. And I do remember that last year, I mean, we only had 19 kids in my graduating class. And you know everything about everyone, and everyone had these great plans and these, big visions of what they were going to go to school for and, have a very successful job. And by successful to me at that time, that meant monetary, by making a lot of money. And I remember at one point I said, I'm going to be an aerospace engineer. That's what I'm going to go be. Why? Why did I say that? I have no idea, right? So I said that for a little bit of my senior year, but I knew in my heart that I was going to go be a teacher. I knew that that's where God was leading me all along. I just had a fancy name, aerospace engineer, right? Have you guys ever had anything that you thought like, I'm going to try this thing, even though I know my heart is over here. I know that I'm being led over to this specific path, but you know what? I'm going to try over here first. I didn't do it. I didn't even go to college or anything for it. I knew I was going to college for teaching, but it had a nice little ring to it and it was kind of impressive. Um, but the story of that is I did end up following my heart. I ended up following my passion and my gifts to be an educator. And during that time, actually, during high school, and this kind of leads into my entrepreneurship, where during that time in high school, I worked at Pizza Hut. It was my first job at 16. And I got that job and I loved it. I had a great group of people. Huge shout out to Melissa and Sarah and all of our amazing crew at Pizza Hut when I got hired. After it kind of it wasn't as fun and exciting. But I I loved that atmosphere, especially as a 16-year-old, you're just kind of getting into the work environment. And I knew that I wanted to do more though. I didn't want to just continue to be a cook. I wanted to go on to management. So I told my parents at 18 I was going to go on to management and I was going to, just be the manager until I got to college and through college or whatever. Well, as amazing as they are, they found a pizza shop actually. And instead of me being a manager at Pizza Hut, I then became the owner and manager of a pizza shop. So a huge shout out to all of my pizza shop employees and people that I've met through the pizza shop, because that was such a pivotal moment in my life as well. And again, one of those moments that you don't realize what happened there. How did all of that turn into and lead me to something that I was going to do later on in life? I was running a business at 17 years old until I was in my 20s. I had no idea. I mean, it wasn't an email list. It wasn't connecting with people on social media. It wasn't anything like that. But it was serving clients. It was making sure I had products available. It was managing a team. It was the inventory, the customer service, the learning. I mean, I went and I got certified in different areas and I continued to learn along the way. So huge shout out and kudos to my parents, Jim and Sherry Wallace, for that opportunity that has led and opened up so many doors to me. And in college, I then went on to college. As I was doing the pizza shop, I also knew that as I was, going down my path of education, I needed to start building my portfolio with working with children. And that really wasn't happening, owning a pizza shop. So I told my dad that I needed to go work at a daycare. And he was like, what? Like, you own a business and you're going to go work in a daycare. But I knew that's where my heart was. I knew I needed to be with kids. So I did. I continued to do both for a while, passed it on to my brother, the pizza shop, and then eventually we sold it. But I found that love and I found what lit me up, and it was educating kids. And my first daycare, Heart to Heart, man, I'm just dropping all the names today, all the memories as I continue to tell my story. It's just so amazing. And Laurie actually was my very first co-teacher in this daycare setting, and we had preschool age kids, and we had a blast. We were the teachers that if we were gonna do a theme week, we went all in. And we had a beach party, and we had cooking. I mean, we just did it all. We loved our kids, and we loved educating them and just making it fun for them. So here I am again. I'm really seeing how all of these pieces have led me to my spot where I'm at today. And as the years went on, I continued to go to different daycares and find nanny positions and babysitting and different teaching positions and things like that. And through, I just loved it. I loved educating, and I loved being with the children. I loved, just being that light for them. And, anytime we had a kid that came in that was crying or upset, I was always the one to go over and console them. That just always where my heart was. So later on, moved through college and everything. I had some amazing mentors. A huge shout out to Shelly Hipsky as one of my amazing mentors in college when I went through all of these childhood classes. Many, many experiences there. And I was able to, after going to undergrad school for elementary degree, I taught at a charter school, Propel Charter School in Pittsburgh, for a couple years, and then I wanted to go back for my special ed degree. I had a lot of challenges during that first year of teaching, and yes, every first year of teaching is challenging, but this year was an interesting year, and I wanted to make that next step. How can I better my education? So I went back and I got my master's degree in special education, and I loved it. I loved it because I did not feel equipped enough the first year of teaching. How can I continue to better myself and educate myself? So yeah, I know I got a lot more student debt with that year of master's degree, but it was worth it. I then was able to teach in Hopewell for 10 years total, or maybe 6-7 years total with subbing, but 10 years as my whole teaching in the public school setting. And I loved it. I taught special education classroom my first year, and then I went into a life skills classroom, and I rounded out my year in second grade, or my career at the Hopewell School District in second grade, and I loved every minute of it. I had the best students. I mean, yes, we all have our moments, right? We all have the stressful days, and right now, November into December, everyone's excited to get to Christmas, and you have that break at Christmas time, and then you're good. You're good in January. You get a little lull in February. You're waiting for spring to happen in March. By April and May, you're just like, all right, I'm done, right? So we've all had it. That's how how it goes, the ebb and flow of teaching. But I loved interacting with the kids. Again, it was all about the kids for me. And it was, how can I bring education to them in a way that is fun? Because I taught kids that were in the life skills classroom that were not able to comprehend a lot of the material that was being presented in regular ed classrooms or even special education classrooms. So it was my goal, it was my mission to find ways to present topics in a way that they can comprehend and they can understand. And sometimes that meant we played games, and sometimes that meant we had math centers. I mean, I had math centers galore. It's like my favorite thing. And math games and reading games. And I taught math when I was teaching, so I have tons of math experience. But reading now has become my expertise teaching my own children now. So we'll get to that. But as I continued through that journey, I just continued to see how every child is uniquely perfect, and how every situation and family is, again, uniquely perfect. Everyone has their struggles. Everyone has their challenges. Everyone has their rewards. But when they came into that classroom, they knew they were loved. And they knew that I was going to do my best to provide them with the best education. And that was such a gift to them, but also a gift to me, to know I was making an impact in their life. So I stayed with most of my kiddos within the life skills classroom for about 4 years. And I mean, at that time, you're just creating this bond with them, that lasts a lifetime. When I go into town, I still see my former students, and I have goals and hopes for big things for them. And I just love being able to connect with them and see them and, just see how far they've gotten and where life is taking them and where life will take them. And that goes for all of my students that I've taught. So that was my teaching career. And then I had my own children. So I was in the life skills classroom teaching. So in 2015, I had Ella. And I was able to take the rest of the school year off that school year and then have the summer off with her because I had her in March. And I had about 6 months with her, which was amazing. And I just loved that connection and that bond that we had. And then I went back and I taught for a couple more years about a year and a half. And then I had Alex in 2016 and I had him in December. So at the end of December, right after Christmas, and I had my 3 months off and then I had to go back for a couple months, which was very, very hard. Dan travels for work, and at that time he had to travel to California. And he was gone for that entire time. I had to go back to work full time while having a newborn and a toddler and no support. So I think that really started my journey of looking for support, looking for a community. And we made it through that. We did. And whenever I went to a church picnic, I think it was that fall in August, I had families come up to me and they were just saying, Christine, we just feel so alone. And I may have been teaching Sunday school at that point too. So I was building that rapport with these parents. And they said, we feel alone. We have situations that we never expected to happen. Having kids, as being a parent, a working parent. And this was before a pandemic, before people had situations that they never experienced. And this allowed me then the opportunity to connect with these families and say, you know what? Let me find a solution to that problem. Here I am. I'm a problem solver, apparently. I want to find a solution. So I went and started this community. So how many of you out there, if you're watching live or watching the replay, have ever felt like I just feel completely alone on my journey? I just feel like there's no one for me to talk to, that no one gets it, no one gets my situation. I know I've felt that many times. People can sympathize with me, but I'm like, you just don't get it. There's just something else different here. Or this situation, I don't know how to handle it. So if you're watching the replay, please drop it in the comments. Let me know. And I would love to just embrace you right now and just send you a hug and love and say you're not alone. Because that's exactly what I did for the families that I met when I started Momspiration. I just said you're not alone. We are in this together. I am here. This community is here to provide friendship, to provide community, to provide that support and encouragement. So we started this group and it grew exponentially, very quickly. And I said, okay, now what? Now what do I do? I have this support. I have these wonderful families in here. And I was just sharing things that I thought was helpful for them. No rhyme or reason. I just was sharing things that would come to my heart. And eventually I started offering meetups. And I started saying, like, here, let's meet up at the park. Let's know that we're not alone. Let's be able to talk while the kids play and have fun interacting, while we then have an opportunity to chat and interact. And so this was the start of something, and it led to educational play dates. Because at that point, then, here I am as an educator, right? I'm watching the kids play and they're loving it. But how also, because here was another problem that I was seeing, not necessarily at a playground, but if families wanted to come together at a party, often the kids would want your attention, or they would need you, or they would, so the parents wouldn't always be able to have that adult conversation that we're often longing for. I know at times, now that I homeschool my own children, when my husband calls me on his way home from work, I just like unload the day. Like, just thank you for talking to me, And that is something here too. It's just allowing us this outlet to be able to say, we're here to listen, and let's just share. So I started having these meetups, and I started educating the kids with these activities where we were singing, we were dancing, we were crafting, we were reading, all of the things, doing math, all the things. And eventually, this turned into the EduPlay learning curriculum. And I called it EduPlay for a long time. And I just started transitioning to EduPlay learning because it really has turned into a curriculum and an academy that is allowing kids all over the world to be able to learn in different ways. Where whenever I teach throughout the EduPlay Learning Academy, I am sharing a concept, but opportunities and examples for kids of all ages and abilities to be able to take that concept and figure out a way for them to learn it in a different way that is meaningful to them. So I started developing this curriculum, and then the pandemic hits. And we were having these amazing groups and amazing meetups. The families were excited. The kids were excited. We did them at all different places: a photography studio, a dance studio. I was doing them out of my home. We've done them at the parks. We've done them, just everywhere. And we were just really loving it at community centers. And I then wanted to help families when the pandemic happened. Because at that time, preschool stopped for my daughter. And I said, okay, if it stopped here, and I know that I have plenty of things here to entertain her and educate her and, keep her excited and not bored, what about other families? How can I help serve other families? So the kiddos and I, we went live every day at 9 o'clock every morning, and we brought the family's calendar. We brought singing and songs and movements and a story and an activity using things that were in their own home. And then it occurred to me that it was time. It was time for me to go back to the EduPlay activity kits that I wanted to start. And it was time for me to present all of these materials for families in one box. Materials, activity sheets, everything that you would need, and be able to get it delivered to their door. So then that way they have everything that they need to educate their kids with my guidance. So we had such an amazing group and amazing EduPlay learners that, we kept that going, and we were just so excited to be able to have new themes each month. And we were so excited to meet up via Zoom and have a conversation and craft together. And the parents were able to talk together. So that led into EduPlay learning activities, which now has led into the EduPlay Learning Academy, as I now have the opportunity to educate my own kids too. So just so many things have come from me having a love for learning at such a young age. And you may be wondering, like, why today? Why November 11th? Well, November 11th was the first day, the first meetup that I had for Momspiration. It was on Veterans Day, and it was in Panera. And we met up, and I had all of these Veterans Day stuff. Like, I had books, and I had cards, and I had, a song, and I had all the things. And we met up, and the kids all came together, and the parents were able to go get lunch and be able to have a conversation while I was able to interact and educate these kids, my own kids, and then other friends and kids of friends that I knew. And so that is why today is the anniversary of Momspiration, because 11/11 was all about new beginnings. And my cousin said that. My house number used to be 111. She's like, everywhere I look, I just see ones around you. And, that to her, that was the meaning of, new beginnings and, all of these things. So then as I started thinking about this new venture that I was going to have, every time I saw the clock, it was 11/11. It was 11/11. So at first, Momspiration was Momspiration 11/11, and some of you may remember that. And then it transitioned to Momspiration412 because it was developed in Pittsburgh. My home, my heart will always be in Pittsburgh. And that's where we created Momspiration. And if you are a Pittsburgh Momspiration mom, I would love to know in the comments. Give us some love. And if you are a Momspiration mom from anywhere around the world that joined in at any time, please drop it in the comments and let us know where you're from. Even just an emoji. It doesn't have to be exactly where you're from. Let me know where you're from and where you're joining us from. Because this community turned into a worldwide community over the pandemic. Families from all over the world were joining and asking for guidance to help. Please help me teach my children, entertain my children, educate my children while I'm home working from home. And that's what we were able to do. So I just feel like this journey has just been, it's been an amazing journey, and it is just beginning. It is just beginning. I just finished and submitted my first cover article for a magazine. I have been featured in many magazines, and during the pandemic, I was featured on the radio every day. I've been featured on the news. Just so many amazing opportunities, and I know that this is just the beginning. I know that there's so much more and so many more opportunities, and I am just so honored to have you in the community and to allow us just to continue to grow and expand and just make this an amazing community for families all over the world. So if you are watching the replay, if you catch us live, please let me know in the comments that you are here. Please send me a message privately if you would like, or let me know in the comments. What are some topics that you would like seen on the show? This is all about motherhood. Today, it was all about my journey and where I started and where we are going. And we're going big places. But as we continue this show, it's going to be about you. It's going to be about your family. It's going to be about bringing experts, other experts in. If you have educational questions, I'm here for that. But I also have a ton of other experts that are excited to be in this space and be able to offer that. So I'm very excited for everything that we have going on, for all of the next steps. And I just want to just send you guys all so much love and hugs and happiness and health. And if you have any topics that you would love to see in upcoming shows, please drop it in the comments or send me a private message. If you have any questions. Maybe you have a question or a comment about my journey. Please feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm here to respond and answer any questions that you may have. So know that I'm sending you all so much love, and I just truly want to inspire you all and educate and entertain, and I just hope that you guys have a fabulous day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.